Ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies. Are there any actually ladies that watch this? Watch me talk about this? Highly unlikely. But not the only thing that's unlikely. Because after all, if you listen to some people, don't look now, but Bears football is cooking, baby. Woo! Could you imagine, right? They've won 2 out of their last 4 games without their starting quarterback, the alleged pretend face of the franchise, Justin Fields. They're 3-3 in their last 6 games. By God, they're figuring it out. By God, they're going to go on a run like the 2022 Detroit Lions did. Never mind the fact I believe those 2022 Lions, like, point differential, they actually had an advantage there where the Bears are like minus 51. Never mind the fact that the Detroit Lions have Dan Campbell as their head coach and Ben Johnson as their offensive coordinator. And the Bears have the scarecrow, Matt Eberflus, if I only had a brain. And they have, of course, that offensive coordinator. You know him, you despise him. Gutless, gutsy. Put him up. Put him up. I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm getting into a rhythm. I'm figuring it out. It doesn't matter if it's Tyson Bagent. It doesn't matter if it's Justin Fields. We're going to shock the world. 1st and 10. Halfback dive. 2nd and 9. Halfback dive. 3rd and 8. Halfback screen. Because God knows the Bears are certainly feeling good about themselves after beating the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, the 1-win Panthers, 16-13 last Thursday night. Watch out now. Bears football. Here comes Justin Fields back. He's starting. His thumb is healed. And he's not alone. He's bringing the cavalry with him. Khalil Herbert's going to be back. Nate Davis is going to be back. Terrell Smith on the defense. Maybe Tremaine Edmonds on defense. Well, if it's a positive or not, whatever. The rhythm and the flow is going to go. The Bears are coming, baby. Watch out. Bears football. Bear down. And shut the hell up. Then you correctly come to reality and say, oh, this is a division game on the road, and the Scarecrow is 0-8 against the NFC North as a head coach. Whoopee-doo. Don't know about you, but that sounds like Bears football to the worst order. Meanwhile, you've got the Detroit Lions, and the Lions and Lions fans have plenty of reason for optimism and excitement this year. Which just astounds me that Bears fans try to talk shit to Lions fans. Like, yeah, like Lions fans right now, this particular season, which is the only thing that matters, they can talk shit. Bears fans can't say shit. The Lions come into this one at 7-2, firm command of the NFC North, 2 games up in the loss column on the Minnesota Vikings, coming off of an exciting 41-38 victory over the Chargers last Sunday. You know, how did they do this? How did they get to this spot? It's primarily on the strength of their offense. The offense is 2nd in total yards, 3rd in time of possession, and 6th in total points scored, which is why you're hearing a lot about Ben Johnson being a head coaching candidate next year and potentially being one of those in the mix for the Bears head coaching job. Meanwhile, the defense, you know, is improved, but still has its issues. They're 9th in total yards allowed, but 20th in points allowed. They're pretty stout against the run, but they're really vulnerable against the pass. So if you're playing a team that could spread you out, a team that has multiple weapons in the passing game, you can get at Detroit. And it probably is going to be their bugaboo come playoff time, is they're going to really struggle to stop somebody throwing the ball, and that's what's going to be their undoing. Thankfully for them, though, while they got past the Chargers last week, it was exciting, but at the same time not pretty to give up 38 points. You know, they can feel a little bit better because they're talking about going up against Bears football with the Scarecrow at the helm. If I only had a brain. There's a reason the Lions are 7.5-point favorites in this one, folks. The over-under is 48.5. Yahoo! Yeah, exactly. You know, when you look at this matchup, it's like one of these things where I certainly would have hoped the Bears would have been further along. At this point, when you go into an offseason with the number one overall pick and the most cap space, plenty of draft pick capital, 3-7 is not where you should be. I don't want to hear any fucking excuses. I don't want to hear any defenses or justifications. That's pathetic. Unacceptable. And a big reason for that is the Detroit Lions, as I knew they did at the time, got their head coaching hire right in Dan Campbell. The Bears instead hired Matt Eberflus, and there you go. Keys to victory for this one, Chicago. They've actually been solid against the run. They've got to remain stout against the run because this is a Lions team with David Montgomery. Beware the Monty revenge game, right? And Jahmyr Gibbs. This is a team that likes to run the ball quite a bit, and can do it effectively. The Bears have got to stay stout. Guys like Andrew Billings are going to be big. Montez Sweat against the run on that defensive line. They have got to force the Lions to throw more. They do. Make them a one-dimensional team offensively. Meanwhile, for the Bears, offensively, 10 plus targets for DJ Moore, 8 targets for Cole Kmet. The Lions have a little trouble defending tight ends, defending the middle of the field. Unlike what you usually do with Justin Fields at quarterback, attack the middle of the goddamn field. Slants, crossers, curls, like these types of things, right? Like attack the middle of the fucking field. And then defensively, you got to be able to generate some kind of pressure on Jared Goff. You got a lot of Bears fans that are talking about, oh my God, Montez Sweat had like 7 or 8 pressures in last Thursday night's game. No, he didn't. But even if you want to believe that, it wasn't coming against the offensive tackles. It was coming either because he was completely unblocked or square up against tight ends. They gave up a lot and paid a lot for Montez Sweat. He needs to actually get to the quarterback and get a sack. Well, sacks are overrated. Sacks aren't everything. Nah, fuck you. You don't give up that much for a guy to come in and not get sacks. He has to be able to produce at that level, period. They've got to get some heat on Jared Goff. Get him off of his base, get him uncomfortable, shake up his throwing platform. I mean, you can get to him. He can be had if you can. If you let him sit in the pocket with his feet set and be comfortable, he will pick you apart. Meanwhile, for Detroit, it's the same thing I've talked about for the last several Bears opponents. Go after Tyreek Stevenson early and often. He's been very bad this year. Whoever he's lined up on the outside against, go at them. Try to find a way to get Amon-Ra St. Brown on him as much as possible and go attack him. And then also, speaking of the passing game, the Lions need to work the middle of the Bears zone defense in their passing game. The teams that do this can put up some big yards, big points on the Bears because they can't fucking defend the middle of the field at all. That Eberflus zone is stupid. It just is. And if you attack it, it will pay dividends for you. And then defensively, Detroit, play contain and keep Justin Fields in the pocket and force him to beat you with his arm. Because he does not feel comfortable as a pocket passer, especially I would imagine after missing 4 starts. Like for a guy that already lacks some natural feel within the pocket, now he's missed action for a month. Like he's going to be somewhat out of rhythm. This is one of these games where, the Lions have to be careful. Because a Bears team could come in there due to familiarity, what have you, and surprise you a bit. But the Bears are 3-7 for a reason. I'm not picking them to win this one. Give me the Lions 27, the Bears 17. And I would assume that Monty's going to have a decent game against his old team, and the Bears are going to struggle like you would expect them to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game.